We talk about all these little victories that we all have in our life, and for some people, winning $1 million is a victory, but I walk around celebrating, I got out of bed this morning. That's something to be excited about. I remember when I first revealed to a coworker that I had mental illness, she says, "You're the last person that I thought would have depression." And for me, it's sort of like, oh, like that's cool that I don't necessarily have a label attached to me, but it just really goes to show that you really don't know who has mental illness. I was a good student, but I was just always feeling very nervous and very anxious, and I thought this was normal. But even as a 6 or 7-year-old, all this intense anxiety was something that made me a victim of bullying. After I was made a crime ward when I was 10 and really being detached from my mom, that's when things really started to take its toll on me, and I was punching holes in walls. I was just very emotional. I was locking myself up in my bedroom. I was just completely isolating myself just from the rest of the world because I didn't want anyone to sort of see me like this. Someone in one of the group homes I lived in, he told me that if I really needed some sort of medical help that my caregivers weren't providing, that I should tell my caregivers that I was suicidal, and I would go to the hospital and I would get the care that I needed there. And that's what I ended up doing, and that's really when I got my first diagnosis, was put on medication, and really I had medical professionals intervene. And I felt like at that stage in my life, the hospital was really a good place where some staff members and some doctors took my side who really wanted to be there for me and sort of gave me the love and attention that I really didn't have for a period of time after I left my mom and when I was in Children's Aid. I would say the first couple of years of my recovery were very trying. There was certainly that sense of denial, like, oh, I can't have this, I think they're all wrong, even though I know something's wrong. Just hearing a diagnosis made me really feel like less of a person. But at the same time, it also gave me hope. It just affirmed what I was feeling, knowing that it was okay. And so I really tried to use that in a constructive way. And what I started to do was I ended up speaking out, because even though I was receiving good treatment, I still feel like it was a very one-size-fits-all approach for me. And I started advocating publicly and sat on my first committee for the Provincial Advocate for Children and Youth. Over the past 10 years, it's really blossomed from there. The vibe that I'm getting from a lot of youth I'm meeting right now is there's a lot of hopelessness, because there's a lot of people out there talking that they want to create change and they want to create form, but there's this lack of action, and they believe that they have a very grim future in store. When people across Canada watch this video, I really hope they're inspired to not only help themselves, it's to help others, to challenge the stigma happening around them, to seek help, but to also not be afraid to stand up and have the guts to question their policymakers and people in government to really create change and reform, to stop stalling. This is our country, this is our voice, and it's about standing up and saying enough is enough.